Breaking now at 6, the Trailblazers address the bombshell allegations against coach Chauncey Billups.
Tough moment, but I gotta do my job.
As the team prepares to take the court for the first time since his arrest. Plus,
I'm Celine Stevens, and I'm here in Seaside, where the rain's been coming down all day long, but that's not stopping people from walking the streets and trying to enjoy their Friday.
If you don't own a rain jacket, you're not from around here.
And a federal judge once again weighs a critical decision.
Whatever the courts decide, we will respect the courts.
The timing on when she could potentially clear the way for National Guard troops to deploy to Portland.
Well, I spoke in the morning, but that's it. I think it's,
Well, he spoke to the team about the bombshell allegations this morning, but that is about it. Right now at 6, breaking news around the Portland Trailblazers with interim head coach Tiago Splitter addressing the media for the first time since the federal indictment and arrest of head coach Chauncey Billups for Billups' alleged role in a massive gambling scheme.
let's get right to live team coverage. We've got Evan Watson on the legal case, including new details on those alleged rigged poker games. But first, to Orlando Sanchez live at Moda.
And Orlando, team leadership with tip-off just about an hour away now, breaking their silence.
Yeah, David, the team has basically had one day to absorb the shock that has rocked all of Rip City and, quite frankly, the entire NBA. And that's because the team is forced to move forward with a game playing tonight at 7 o'clock against the Golden State Warriors. Now, here's a few shots of the players arriving. And from that standpoint, getting here around 4 o'clock, it was business as usual, going through security and warm-ups here on the court. And now, other than a brief statement, this is the first time we're hearing from the team since Chauncey Billups was put on leave. No one from the front office has talked to the media, but interim head coach Tiago Splitter spent about 10 minutes answering questions from the media. He didn't expect to be in this position, and he didn't see it coming.
not great. But like I said, we got to move forward. We got a job to do. I'm not going to get tired of repeating this. We have a great opportunity in front of us to do a great season with this team, and I'm excited about that.
Splitter joined Billups' staff in June, so he's been here a few months. Before that, he was a head coach in Paris, where he had lots of success out in Europe, and before that he was an assistant in the NBA with the Brooklyn Nets and the Houston Rockets. Now, in terms of a game plan, he said, we're going to keep working towards what we started this summer, so expect to see high intensity, the rotations, all of that to stay the same. And in terms of the vibes in the locker room and just keeping the players focused, it's simply that, and not focusing on the things that they cannot control. We'll see how things pan out tonight when they take the court against the Warriors at 7 o'clock, and we will hear from the players for the first time at 11 o'clock. David, Christine?
Yeah, Splitter saying they have a job to do. Hopefully they get the job done tonight as well. Appreciate your reporting, Orlando.
All right, let's bring in Evan Watson now, tracking the legal case against Billups. So, Evan, where do things go from here?
Well, the criminal case against Billups now moves to New York State. He has a hearing there scheduled a month from now on November 24th. Meanwhile, as Orlando said, play goes on. We're seeing people walk into the Moda Center currently, and the question still remains of what will be the fallout of this in the months moving forward. Chauncey Billups left the federal courthouse in Portland on Thursday, released from custody under certain rules. He can't gamble. His travel is limited to Oregon, New York, and his home state of Colorado, and he can't contact defendants, alleged victims, or members of the Italian mafia. Billups faces federal charges, conspiracy to commit wire fraud and money laundering, in connection with allegedly rigged illegal poker games.
And I think he's probably going to see some pretty serious punishment here unless he really delivers someone higher than him. He's the highest, he's the marquee person in this indictment.
Chris Swecker is a former assistant director of the FBI. He says it's extraordinary that Billups, an active head coach, is accused of these crimes.
To the detriment of the teammates and the players that he's entrusted with and the fans. So it's just a booming breach of trust on his part.
There are a lot of stories.
In the fallout, new details emerging. Professional poker player Matt Berkey talked about allegedly rigged poker games involving Billups on his podcast 2 years ago, which he told the Pat McAfee Show about on Friday.
And it just seemed quite suspicious to me. So I was lucky enough to pass. I had a lot of friends who lost, hundreds of thousands of dollars in these games just with the opportunity to play with a few celebrities.
Beyond the poker, prosecutors say an unnamed co-conspirator, matching Billups' playing and coaching history, told a sports bettor about player injuries and a plan to tank for better draft picks, helping gamblers rake in a profit. The legal cases and investigations move forward, with questions about the reputational damage for the NBA and potential punishment or impacts for the Blazers, a team that's in the process of being sold to a new ownership group. To be clear, Billups' lawyer denied the allegations, saying in a statement that Chauncey Billups would never sacrifice his Hall of Fame legacy, his reputation, or his freedom for anything, let alone a card game. That statement went on to say that Billups has never and would never gamble on basketball games, provide insider information, or sacrifice the trust of his team or of the league. And that's where things stand now.
Evan Watson reporting live for us from Moda. Thank you, Evan. You can stay with KGW as we track updates on this story. You can find the latest here on KGW.com and on our free TV streaming app, KGW+.
Okay, let's talk about your stormy weekend forecast now with a weather impact alert now in effect.
Matt, it's really been wet out there.
Yep.
Now the wind is going to be picking up, though, through the weekend, right?
That's for tomorrow, but we got some great breaks today. In fact, there was this awesome rainbow over downtown, too. Look at the color down in Salem. Some clearing in the sky. The trees, of course, lots of color. 54 degrees, and the winds have really backed off. So we're in a lull between the two storms. We had the atmospheric river today, brought us a lot of rain. Here's that rainbow downtown in time-lapse as the showers were breaking up. In fact, it was a double rainbow in downtown Portland. Kind of fun to see that. Let's check out Doppler radar. You see the main rain band is now pushed over and east of the Cascades. So a line of showers off the coast, but actually quite a bit of dry weather tonight. So if you're heading out for, say, high school football, it should be mainly dry for the next several hours. Rainfall, though, is impressive. Over 3/4 of an inch in Portland, nearly an inch in Hillsborough and in McMinnville. So again, we got what we thought we would from our atmospheric river, but again, that is now sagging on down to the south. In its wake, we have a high wind warning up on the Oregon coast for tomorrow, a wind advisory for the valleys, and a winter weather advisory up in I'll get that down as we get deeper into spring, or deeper into fall. Get that one down. Also, a high surf advisory on the coast as big swells as high as 28-foot breakers will be battering the beaches. So the weather impact alert continues for tomorrow for storm number 2. We'll get some gusts in the valleys as high as 40 miles an hour, so make sure things are tied down and be careful driving out there, guys.
Yeah, glad we're at least getting a break for now.
You bet.
Thank you, Matt. Well, as you just heard Matt talk about, that atmospheric river brought a ton of wind and rain to the coast as well, but a lot of people seem to take it in stride.
Celine Stevens has the update from Seaside.
The rain has been pouring all day here in Seaside, leaving anybody walking around town drenched. Despite that, we were still able to find people to talk to who said that a little bit of rain wasn't going to ruin their day.
We love being out here, so a little rain won't ruin our weekend.
If you don't own a rain jacket, you're not from around here.
Rain pouring on the Oregon coast non-stop Friday afternoon thanks to an atmospheric river sweeping through northwest Oregon and southwest Washington.
I'm not too cold, just starting to feel really wet. Hoping my jacket does the job.
This woman, visiting Seaside from Chicago, says the rain won't ruin her trip.
We see some of this in the Midwest, so it's not too bad. We were just hoping it would hold off for a little bit longer while we were here.
Others, like this man, saying a little bit of rain won't dampen date night.
Took a day off of work and just decided, well, the coast is the best place to be, and rain or shine, we're used to it at this point, so we might as well just have a fun time and enjoy it while it lasts.
His advice, get a rain jacket or else.
You might as well own it or move out.
Although fewer people were out and about, local businesses like Beach Books weren't too concerned.
Started out slow. People weren't out walking the streets, obviously, but in the last hour it has picked up and it's been a busy morning.
Owner Karen Emmerling saying while business is slower than on a summer day, the rain actually brings more people inside on a fall day.
Everybody needs a book on a rainy day.
Customers agree.
Yeah, I like to go inside in the rain. stay dry. We're used to it, yeah. It's nice.
These two celebrating a birthday, rain or shine.
We'll probably just still do what we plan to do, yeah. Just get wet.
Again, the rain's been coming down non-stop throughout the day, but clearly that's not stopping anybody from enjoying their Friday. In Seaside, Celine Stevens, KGW News.
Yeah, love the coast, rain or shine. But you know what? When severe weather does move in, a reminder that you can text tips, photos, or videos directly to us here at KGW. The number is right on your screen. That is 503-226-5088. A reminder, be safe out there and never put yourself in harm's way just for a photo op.
Good reminder there. Okay, to continuing coverage now over the legal battle over whether the president can deploy National Guard troops to Portland.
Kyle Aboshi is in the newsroom for us with a significant update. Kyle.
It is a big development. In essence, the Ninth Circuit hit pause on an earlier ruling that would have cleared the way for the deployment of the National Guard in Portland. Instead, everything's on hold. The temporary restraining orders remain in place until 5 p.m. on Tuesday, while the appeals court considers taking another look at the case. A surprise development from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. It temporarily suspended an earlier decision, ensuring the National Guard will not deploy to Portland at least until Tuesday, while the appeals court decides whether to rehear the case. The order comes after a critical phone hearing in federal court Friday. Judge Karen Immerget is considering whether to lift her previous order temporarily blocking the deployment of National Guard troops to Portland, a decision expected by Monday or possibly sooner. Laura Appelman of Willamette University School of Law says the process takes time.
I think one of the things that, shall I say, television crime procedurals tend to mislead a bit is that things do not happen instantaneously, especially on issues of this importance.
During the 90-minute hearing, a lawyer for the Trump administration said the deployment would be limited to 200 troops. Brigadier General Alan Gronwald said if called on, 200 members of the Oregon National Guard are ready to go during an appearance on KGW's Straight Talk.
And the courts are still trying to determine the legality, and whatever the courts decide, we will respect the courts.
On Monday, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals sided with the Trump administration, putting a hold on Immerget's first restraining order, which blocked the deployment of Oregon National Guard troops. But a second restraining order remained, which covered all federalized National Guard troops, not just those from Oregon. The feds urged Immerget to dissolve her second order, clearing the way for troops to mobilize. Late Thursday, the state of Oregon urged the appeals court to reconsider, alleging the Trump administration made a factual error by claiming 115 Federal Protection Service officers, or nearly 25% of the FPS officers nationwide, had been redeployed to Portland to help protect the ICE office. But in fact, only a fraction of that number, 20 or 30 officers, were in Portland at any given time.
In my view, it seems unlikely that the Ninth Circuit motions panel, the 2-1 decision, they're going to sua sponte overturn themselves. But it is yet another complicated factual issue.
The Ninth Circuit is expected to decide whether it should take another look at the case by Tuesday. In the meantime, both temporary restraining orders will stay in place, preventing the federal government from deploying troops in Portland. Things are moving quickly. A lot of big decisions next week. Will the Ninth Circuit take another look at the case? And what will happen at trial? Oregon's underlying lawsuit against the federal government goes to trial on Wednesday.
I mean, so many moving parts, it's hard to keep up with it. Really appreciate you making sense of it all for us.